at 6 minutes after and 64 degrees. And savagery doesn't count in the city. Here at 7 minutes after 8 o'clock and 64 degrees.
We're delighted to have as our first guest this morning Mr. Alan Robinson, who is the owner of Data Concepts. As a matter of fact, he started the program here in Memphis, or the business of Data Concepts. How did you conceive in your mind to go into this business? What prior knowledge did you have of computers, Mr. Robinson?
Well, Fran, actually I owned another business, and starting back in 1962 and early on in 1976 I was beginning to get interested in computers for the other business, and as I looked for other computers I couldn't find an answer that was suitable for our company, and I ended up in the computer business. And
what did you really need?
We needed solutions, which is what everybody needs when they buy a computer, and specifically we had a very difficult accounting problem in tracking orders, and as a businessman it was impossible for us to keep up with what was going on without the use of a computer, and so consequently Data Concepts was born.
Excuse me, I work for another firm who transports a lot of your freight, your pieces and whatnot, and we have the Data Concept pieces and parts going out all over the country. Is your business just centrally located, and do you supply other people with it, or what?
Yes, primarily we're a little bit unique in that we sell both minis and super mini computers as well as microcomputers, and we supply those to a host of industries like quite a few medical installation, wholesale distribution, manufacturers, that type of customer. Do
you have just one brand or one kind, or one? No, are there many computers?
No, we select the equipment to best solve that particular solution.
Oh, and then whatever they need, they get, and you decide for them or help them decide what is best for their business.
Well, we certainly attempt to select it for them, certainly.
Well, you brought it, a young man, and something over there. I just see some wires back here, but I'm sure they're there for a reason. Now, that's Marty Quinn, right, Marty?
Right.
Okay, we're going to get a camera on Marty and find out what the world he's doing. He's certainly not fixing to play a concerto. You know, first thing I said, oh, Lord, here we go with more piano music, but no. What you going to do, honey?
Okay, what we have here, Fran, is what we call a Context MBA program. It implies a Master's of Business Administration. It runs on the Hewlett-Packard 9816. It's a integrated business application package that involves spreadsheet analysis, word processing, and graphics.
Now tell me, spreadsheet analysis, that's just looking at what you're doing, is that right?
Right. What that is a person would go in and forecast things like sales for his different products, and then he can go in and change the figures very easily and come up with a graph or his projections for that coming year or whatever.
Well, great. Let's see how it operates.
Okay. What I have here, I have the cursor control standing in the spreadsheet portion of the screen, which is divided into 4 windows: the spreadsheet, the graphics, and the word processing. I can move the cursor control back and forth like so, and it's very easy to change a number. For instance, right now in 1983 we have $12 million worth of sales for lines.
Now that we have it on the screen, point out to me again the cursor control.
Okay, here it is, right here. Now the
cursor control simply means the beginning of what you're doing.
Right.
Right.
Now,
see, I know I told you I'd do all this stuff, right? All right, go ahead.
For instance, if I wanted to change that 12 to a 40, all I'd have to do is type in 40 and hit my enter button, and that changes it to 40. Now I want that to show up on my graph, so what I do is hit the shift and exclamation point, and the graph changes like so. Now if I want to plot the graph by using the semicolon button, I can move to the graphics window, and all I have to do is give it a command of P to print to the graphics plotter, which I have right here, and return. And there it goes.
Now what you've shown us, what business would need that? What have you actually done? Have you stored the data, or have you recalled data, or are you inputting data?
A combination of all three, really. A person would go in and set up his particular business in this. Set up, for instance, his projections for the year, his sales projections. And then he could go in and develop, if he projects a 10% increase in sales per month, then he could go in and develop his formulas. And for present purposes of presentations to management, he could develop these charts. And while the graphics plotter is going, we can show you a sample of what it turns out to look like.
What's that graphic plotter doing over there?
It's plotting that particular chart right there.
And
we just did that beforehand.
You have just not only stored, but you have just fed the computer the format that you want printed.
Right.
And that's what's happening now. It's getting a printout of it. When it's finished, is it going to look like this?
Exactly like that.
Okay. And what we have here is 21% pineapples, 12% lime, 21% banana. This sounds like breakfast, but oh my goodness. But actually, it's a projection of annual sales for somebody's company.
What's interesting about that program, Fran, is that it's an integrated program that contains both a spreadsheet, graphics capabilities. It has a word processor in one of the windows, which was shown on the screen, which can physically go out and pick up data from the spreadsheet and insert it in the word processor so that you can format a standard report. And the executive simply has to input specific information, which then is transferred directly to the graphs without any additional keystrokes. Mm-hmm. That same information is transferred to the report and is printed out on a typewriter.
When you supply and program the computer, if you're going to sell it to an entrepreneur or a business person, how then is he to maintain it? Do you have to instruct him also? You have to instruct somebody.
Well, certainly. Data Concepts has total training facilities. We have 8 hardwired locations on a mezzanine portion of our location where we take customers and they're totally trained in the use of the computer.
Uh-huh. How long does this process take approximately?
MBA is a joint learning process for both the customer and the training that we provide at Data Concepts. And I would say that over approximately a 2-week period of time, a person will become very, very proficient in the use of MBA.
Well, we may as well get used to them. Computers are here to stay. As a matter of fact, I don't think we're going to be able to do much without them in the coming years. So rather than learn how to put a hubcap on children, learn how to do something with a computer as well. We appreciate so much your coming and your expertise, Marty. And the next time I need one of them, I'm going to call you.
You do that, Frank.
And I'll tell somebody else to do the same.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roberts.